How's it going, everybody? Eric here with TCG Alley today. I'm going to be doing another video for Azuki Gates Awakened set specifically. With this video, I thought it'd be nice to just make a tier list and go through and give my personal ratings on the aesthetics and visual art of the cards. This won't be a ranking of competitiveness or anything as far as strictly play goes. So if you're wanting to know how all these cards match up against each other in that way, I would be happy to do another video in the future once I've had time to play with all of these cards. I think I have all except for 3 of them in my collection so far, so I could get a pretty good idea. But the Stone Masked Ancient, Suzuka, and Ikazuchi, I believe, are the 3 that I'm missing right now. So, anyways, if you take a look at the tier list I've got here, I tried to make it on theme for Azuki. So we've got down here at the bottom and the back, you got the alley, then S and S plus, because quite frankly, I think all of the designs I've seen for the SRs especially are really good. I don't dislike any of them. I really like the aesthetic of this game. It's one of the things that initially drew me to it. And then I just also happen to think it's very fun to play now too. So going from S and S plus, we go into the garden, of course, and then I felt like it couldn't be complete for an Azuki ratings tier list without having Top Beans be the top rating here. Alright, so here we go with my personal feelings on the art here. So I think going first, I'm gonna put in the alley the Suzuka. It's really cool. I like the aesthetic. Having all of the what looks like to be seals around her. She's like casting fire magic. Looks really sick. I like the aesthetic that they chose for her. And then I haven't got to play with her, like I said, so I don't know how she is in actual play sessions, but yeah, very, very cool looking. And next, I would say I'd put Sand Stand Still in this category as well. It is pretty cool looking. I like the fact that they have the aesthetic of the sand swirling around and then it is stopped. Everything like Sand Stand Still. It's very on point with what they were trying to do there with the aesthetic. And I like the character that they've got in the picture as well. Really like gives a sense of scale for how large this hourglass is. Alright, moving on to the next one, I would put Mo and S. For me personally, I haven't been able to do anything with the anime shorts or any of the lore or anything that may give more of an inclination of like how these characters act or anything other than kind of like the vibe or personality that they give off just from the card art. Mo seems like pretty chill. Like, I like the aesthetic. I like the foxfire, as it says in the card, that's surrounding them. I think that is really cool. And then while I'm on the subject of Mo, I would also put Wu Cha in the same category for me personally, and perfectly matches up because the cards actually form one full image when you put the two side by side. Wu Cha is also a very cool looking design. I like the fact that they both share the foxfire and like kind of go in tandem with this. I really like the fact that they did that and hope that in the future we'll get more cards that form a whole scene together. But yeah, Uchiha would also go there for me. Moving on from there, I would put the Lord of Sands Osunanami and the alt art in S. The scale on this one is pretty crazy. Like you can really get the sense of this like 10 cost giant entity um, that is just overwhelming coming into play as it's looks like it's breaching out of the sand coming through. So that one I think is really cool. The next one I would pick would be Gin and Tonica. I would put that in S as well. They definitely look like they are offering you a good time, but also could be quite deadly, like with the combination of the way that I'm guessing Tonica is on the right. It seems like very friendly, welcoming, and then Jen is just kind of there licking the knife blade, just like while you're over there drinking multiple alcoholic beverages. It seems to be. So yeah, like the gin and tonica is very cool. All right, next I would put Enrai Shakanetsu in S as well. This particular version of it, I like the design of the character. She looks really cool. I like the fire kind of surrounding and imbuing her arms. Like that's quite a telling feature. She has like control over the fire in like a very profound way. I think that's pretty awesome. Moving on, the Stone Masked Ancient. Another card I get the feeling is massive in scale. You can see like the framing I really like where the one hand is coming forward into the text and everything. It really seems like this, like it says, ancient creature that's able to inflict a lot of harm if it need be. Moving on from there into S plus, Ikazuchi. I just really like the aesthetic of this sword. The um, I guess like half moon cut into the side is really cool. The fact that it's like imbued with lightning is also very cool. And I like the wrappings that it has going on. I'm not sure, if there's more to the weapon. I know that there's a second episode of the Azuki anime that has Raizan and Shao in it, and maybe there's more of a showcase there. I still need to check that out soon. But yeah, just aesthetically pleasing looking weapon that I really like. Moving on, I would go next with Raiko's Wrath Shin, and this version is S plus as well. I think the shot, like the framing of the shot, is also really cool in this one. You can really get a sense of like movement and speed when you look how it's kind of like blurred or obscured in the back of the card image. I like all of the like lightning balls or beads or whatever those are that are surrounding as like an attack weapon of sorts for Shin. And yeah, I think it's a really cool card. Next, the other Enrai, Shakanetsu. I love the way that this card is positioned. The fireball charging up in her hand. You can really get the sense that she's about to let loose, and I believe that she could do a lot of damage just with her design. She looks like a very powerful character. So that one would also be S plus for me. Moving on, I would say the next one would be Thunderclap, an S plus. This one I have been able to check out a little bit, and it seems very useful and versatile. And I like that the image itself like showcases a very, very devastating move. It kind of reflects that in the cost of the ability, and I think that it it does a good ability of telling what it's gonna do through the image itself, along with the effect that it has. Moving on, we're gonna start moving into the garden. To start, I'm gonna go with the alt art of Gin and Tonica. This one, I think, just really captures the, I guess, personality that they have. It also very revealing in a different way than the original Gin and Tonica, the non-alt art. This one is more focused on their actions than anything else, I'd say. And I just think that it does a really good storytelling. You can kind of gain a lot of information of what they might be like just from the actions that they're both taking in the art. Moving on from there, I would go to Teb Fei. Really cool card. Love that it has an ability called God Mode. Not even reading into what it actually does mechanically for the game. I just think that it's really cool that something like that was put into it. So I'm not going to speak on how useful it is as far as an ability in the game, since that I would be saving for a later video. But I just think really cool. A lot of floating rocks, and then Tepfei just standing in the middle there. Looks like another very powerful character. It really like encapsulates these 8 cost I feel like entities really well, and showing that you can really do a lot of damage, put up a good fight, and someone you'd want on your side potentially instead of as an adversary. Moving on from there, I would put Mizuryu's Torrent Standard Super Rare. I am a huge fan of dragons, so really cool dual water dragons. The fact that it's 2 dragons and you can target up to 2 entities on the field and move them, I think is really cool. It's another like visual storytelling reflection of like how the mechanics might work. So I think that was nailed really well. Yeah, I really like that one. Moving on to the next one, I would put Lord of Sands, Tsunami, and the non-alt art version, I believe. That one, it's similar with the fact that there are people standing and you get like the sense of scale and everything, but it just feels like the breaching in this one to me makes it seem even more over the top, and like this colossal behemoth of a whale is coming out from underneath you potentially or nearby, and is gonna be overwhelming as a force of nature, almost something you have to deal with. So really cool. Next up, I would put Raiko's Wrath Shin in the alt art. This was actually the first pack that I opened. I got this card, so maybe I'm a little biased just because of that, but I also just really like the art. The fact that I like that in both of them you've got like the gleaming light coming from one eye, and then again those lightning balls or lightning beads, or exactly, I'm not sure what they should be called, but they look really cool in the way that they're just holding them right there. And I think that it's a really cool looking card in general. All right, moving on next. In the garden, I would put Zero here. I really like this entity version of Zero. Another character that just seems foreboding and like you don't want to mess with, which is something that I think that is really nice for the 8 costs 7/7 entities. You see that come onto the alley or the garden, and you just automatically know things are about to change. So something you have to be ready to deal with and assess the threat, which is massive at that point. So I really like the 0 as well. I will talk in a future video on a different tier list about the leader version for 0 and the different arts that that has and the kind of storytelling and visual direction that those go in. But yeah, as far as the entity goes, definitely on the higher end for me. Then moving on into top beans for me. First one I would put it here is Soryu no Rin. Beautiful art, I think, for this character. Like the hair being water, like full control of water is something that I automatically think, and the fact that she's another 8 costing 7/7, it just I'm like I totally believe that as soon as I see the art, and I really love the fact that she's got the water flowing from her hair, and then on top of that she's also conjuring or manipulating water in her hand while she has her staff in the other. She just seems like a very powerful character, which again is something that I'm currently looking for in the 8 cost entities specifically, as something that it just kind of sells me on them being the top threats that you could potentially face, and they're going to be really difficult to remove or to defeat with your own entities and leaders, and it's just going to be quite the uphill battle if you're not prepared. And then my personal favorite has been since the moment that I first looked on the gallery for the cards in the Gates Awaken booster pack, is the Mizuryu's Torrent alt art. This one, again, I'm a huge fan of dragons, so having a character in the middle of this giant wave tide of very powerful looking dragons coming through seems like something that I really believe is going to overwhelm or potentially cause me to lose if I'm on the receiving end of it. And from the times that I've been able to play so far, that kind of is what happened. I was playing someone who was using Soryu no Rin. I happen to have the Mizuryu's Torrent in the deck. Managed to get rid of Soryu no Rin by sacrificing pretty much my whole garden of entities. And then after rebuilding it, there were defenders on my opponent's side that if I didn't get rid of, I would have lost 2 because I had one life left. But I managed to draw into Mizuryu's Torrent, remove the 2 defenders, and then attack for game. And yeah, it just like it really feels like you're commanding the elements with the Mizuryu's Torrent when you play it. It's very cool. So that is my tier list for the SRs and SR alts of the Gates Awakens Azuki TCG set. I would love to know what everyone else's favorite SRs are, like from the top beans like I have it down to the alley. Please, if you end up doing the same tier list, let me know in the comments, and I would love to check out what you did. Yeah, but if you're interested, I would be happy to do videos for leaders and gates and set up tier lists for those. And then in the future, once I've had more time to play with the different deck styles and experience what all the different characters are like and cards are like, I would definitely be happy to make a competitive tier list as well. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, bye.